you look here on the 30-minute. This was a pivotal moment. This is where I thought we make it or break it here. And yesterday I gave you both opinions, bear and bull opinions. I took the bull side. I was very hesitant to do it. I was a 50-50. I wasn't sure. It's why I didn't enter a trade today. However, I did use my knowledge of how this could play out with the bear or the bull case to make a very important decision today. I'll talk about that later. I'm going to make a note of that right now so I don't forget. And so we look at this W reversal here, this W reversal pattern. And we got that pedestrian bounce like I talked about right here. And then that continued. Now, with this W reversal, we had what I would consider smart trading money coming in because they thought there's a good opportunity this is going to bounce. We're going into Good Friday. Historically speaking, this is always a positive time, very bullish. And everybody has thought this month was going to just really take off and amaze everybody. And we've had some whipsaw activity on this stair step down, but we haven't really seen that case play out. And remember our overall thesis here, since I'm a UVXY guy, right now. My overall thesis right now for the entire market is that I am incredibly bearish overall, but that doesn't mean that I won't occasionally support a bullish narrative. And I thought to myself yesterday, there's a good chance this W reversal could take off. You can't just ignore that incoming volume on the hour. Now, the bulls put up a good fight here. Good fight, but eventually we see the EMAs crossed. We're back into bear territory again, and we're on our way down. Now remember, I told you that we would have to double tap 43923 more than likely for this bull case to really play out. And we saw a big fight there. And we saw it throughout the day on the other side. And, actually no, was it the 43923? No, it was not. It was the 44120 that I wanted to see it double tap. That's what it was. And then I was thinking to myself later in the day, well, we could still get support here at 43923, and we could still bounce, and it could still be potentially a bullish scenario. But then I was like, wait a moment, that's impossible because this W reversal will be invalidated. And of course, I sent out a notice if you all were following me on that particular trading platform, Webull. If you were following me over there, you probably saw that notice on the UVXY thread that I said, okay, W reversal invalidated, right? So that was kind of the recap for the day. Where do we go from here is the big question. Well, let's just take a look at some of the higher time frames to start. Let's take a look at the daily. We can see that we had massive exiting volume. Comparatively, we have not had the last many days since really March 30th. We have not had a lot of incoming volume at all. It's mostly been exiting. That's not a great sign for the bulls, right? And then we've got the bearish divergence up here continuing again. So not great. Not great. We're not overbought. That's really the only thing I can see for the bulls here is that we're not overbought. So we could bounce back up in that sense. And look, this is stair-stepping, so we will. We will bounce back up at some point. There's no question. But when that happens and how it happens is a different story. So let's take a look at the 4-hour. And on the 4-hour, you can see just this whole bearish divergence just seems to want to continue on the EMAs. Exiting volume increasing. We haven't had, again, a lot of incoming volume. All right. Not looking great. Not looking great for the S&P 500. On the 2-hour, we get our confirmation that this bearish divergence is continuing as we see the 50-day crossing the 200-day. Again, not great. Not great. We see a large amount of exiting volume at the end of the day here. Not a whole lot of incoming volume on the 2-hour. The only thing I can see here is, again, we're underbought. But you know what? Volume on the way up on this thing was bad. Volume on the way down was bad. I saw somebody say today in the comments section over on the UVXY thread on Webull, oh gosh, I wish I could remember who it was. They mentioned that the volume is a fourth of what it typically is. Was that right? A fourth? It was 3. Maybe they meant it was reduced by 3/4. That may have been what they had said. I don't know. In any case, the point was that it was much lower. And you can go back, and we will do that later, and you will see there were times where we had much better volume overall, the volume profile. So let's take a look at the 1 hour. And again, bad stuff. Bad stuff happening, underbought, okay? So we go back to the 30. We're in this downward channel. We're getting sucked down. There doesn't seem to really be a way to get out of it. Again, I'm going to give you, I've given you the best bear case, the best bull case I've got. I'm going to give you right now, and it kind of combines with, I'll give you the rest of the bull case at the end of the video. I'm going to give you a short piece of the bull case, but I don't want to ruin things because at the end of the video I got kind of a crazy idea here. Crazy idea, theory that I just thought up, which really may have no bearing on actual technical analysis, but it's something I've been considering just from a standpoint of theory and fun. So we have come down to the 43802. I think we're going to see, you can tell here, we're going to see that pedestrian bounce back up. We're probably going to retest. We may not even make it all the way back up to try and retest this channel, to be honest. We may get rejected by any number of resistance points here and continue our merry way down the rabbit hole. Now, so I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a bear on this. I'm a bear on this. And you look at the larger pattern. It just looks like it wants to complete this pattern, like I said at the beginning of last week. And once we break through certain areas, I think it's going to be bad news. Bad news. Let's take a look before we do a weekly analysis, because I've got some theories I want to run by you on the S&P 500. Let's just go to the VIX right now, and then we'll check out UVXY. You can see on the VIX, we are maintaining our general thesis. We're really coiling up here, and if you go back to video 1, you'll really see me, episode 1, you'll see me explain that theory in detail about the VIX, but let's see. You can see this symmetrical triangle. If we hold this, get very interesting. I'm going to tell you right now, just looking at the S&P 500, I'm not sure how long we can hold it. Of course, market manipulation knows no bounds. But I'll tell you one of my concerns for UVXY while we're here. There's not much to mention on UVXY other than, yes, we were up today, which is good, and we're still holding this general uptrend. Remember, don't bother trying to chart UVXY too much. You really want to pay more attention to the S&P 500 and VIX. But what I want to mention here is that as we coil up, as this tightens and tightens and tightens, now, not to say we're not going to touch, if this pattern holds true, but the tighter we coil, even though we're going to be in a state of volatility, and you can leave a comment in the comments section, let me know what you think, but I'm thinking that for UVXY, what that means is that, you look at this. We've done a lot of hanging out with price action. Let's get a better look at this. We've had a lot of price action right about here. Right about here. And right through here. You see all the price action in those areas. Really, I would say I remember specifically beginning to think about this at about the $15 level. I was back here in February. I was beginning to think this way. I was like, it's really odd that we're kind of hanging out here, because I was beginning to notice that it looked like something was changing. And so I'm wondering if we're not going to spend a lot of time in that range. Now, I know that we've got theta decay, and that's something to always take into consideration. So it could be that we kind of trade sideways during that and down, but then when that big quadruple, when we have to have that big quadruple bypass surgery, and we have that massive coronary, and the S&P 500 just bleeds out. Of course, we're gonna fly there and go back to, I believe it was episode 1. I showed you on the UVXY chart how much you can really make. How much money can you really make? You need to know the percentage. Don't look at the COVID era. It's not going to tell you really the percentage you can make. You would make like thousands and thousands of percent higher, and that's just not going to happen. So you need to get your ratio right on that. Don't think that you're gonna make $1,000 a share. So go check that out in episode 1. You can still make a lot of money, but you need to be aware of what you can do and how to do it. So let's take a look then at the weekly here on the S&P 500. And I want to kind of get into some of my theories here about where do we go next week? What's going to happen next week? Well, honestly, I think next week is going to be a little bit crazy. Let's talk about one idea. Let's talk about the fact that this on the weekly actually looks like bink, 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 bink. Looks a lot like a W reversal. Bink. Looks a lot like a failed W reversal on the weekly. So, to me, next week, if that's true, that means we head down. Now, how far do we go? That's the question for the week. How far do we go? Well, it depends on how long this stair-stepping pattern continues. It could potentially depend on market manipulation. I'm going to tell you on these candlesticks right here before I start doing videos, but I was mentioning this in the comments section on Webull repeatedly, that we were having strange candlesticks at the end of the day, closing every day, where it would be 1 minute. In 1 minute, we would have a huge spike of volume that would drive us up the next level on the rung to the price we need to get at, and then the next day we would find support there just magically every day, despite the fact that the volume profile was ugly. Look at the weekly volume profile. It's going down, right? It's not good. It's not good. And so I really don't see a bull case here in front of me right now. It looks like a bear case. Now, another possibility. Maybe we still get a bit of a bounce. We get a whipsaw here. Back up into this channel between these two orange lines where the head and shoulders kind of is. And we put on, something else there. Or perhaps we just put on a lower high somewhere here in this yellow band here where we've got this big range of price activity where there's accumulation. And in any case, what I think might happen, another theory, is we could have an M-top reversal and then spill out. Okay? That would be ugly. That's a possibility. So there could be a bounce, right? And it could happen next week. That's a bull case for next week, but really kind of I'm giving it to you in a bearish context overall because we all know where this market is going. We all know that the yield curve's crossed. We all know that we got roughly 14 months before this thing tanks. And as I've pointed out on VIX, right? And this goes back to that theory. We tighten up in here. We break up, we break down. I think volatility breaks up because I think the S&P 500 finally breaks down. Okay, so that's where we're at there. So those are a couple of theories about where we could go there. Let me try and get back if I can remember. And also I want to look at the, this is not it. I also want to look at this orange channel here. Is that what I want to look at? Is that what I wanted to look at? Is that correct? Yes. Not the channel itself, but if you look between the head and if you look between the shoulders here, right? We we haven't spent a lot of time. You look at price action. We haven't spent a lot of time above this channel. We've spent a lot of time below that channel ever since roughly what? September? We got a rise there, obviously. But, then we spent way more time down on the downside of that as we put on this other shoulder. Look how much time we spent down here. January, February, March. And we're breaking through these key areas of this channel from the last breakdown. And whenever I see this, that makes me nervous. I mean, I'm excited for UVXY, but boy, the economy, right? So, in any case, I think we're headed down. It's not going to be good. Now, just to wrap this up, kind of with a bow on top with some chart nerdy weirdness where I think something strange happened. Remember, this pink line right here is a part of that channel from the last crash. Okay? Remember that? We got our downward channel here that we're in right now in green, being sucked down in this stair-step pattern from the other side. Check this out. What if, and this, look, that's why this might not be traditional technical analysis. I'm sure it's probably not. This is more in the realm of Market Wolf's crazy theories. Okay, so here's one of my first crazy theories that I'll share with you. I think it's a lot more crazy than the symmetrical I see over on the VIX. But imagine, if you will, that the top of this green channel, right, where we keep hitting resistance and fall down and get sucked down. Imagine, if you will, that this green channel goes back infinitely with price action, as if price action actually existed infinitely back in that direction with that velocity of price action. Okay? Let's imagine that. And then we have this channel running up here that price action has been in because of the previous crash. And, obviously it hadn't spent a lot of time there. It spent this time here, and it spent some time back in there in the previous crash. But if you go back and look at this chart, it's not there. Most people wouldn't even do that. They wouldn't chart that, right? But I'm curious. I'm curious like a cat, right? So even though I'm a wolf. So here's my thought. Is this, you comment below, tell me if I'm totally crazy, that's fine. Or tell me if you think like I'm a mad genius, right? What if this is just, if you picture that going back to infinity, what if this is like one giant symmetrical triangle that price action has been in and is coiled up in, and now this area right here represents some kind of weird position where everything truly begins to break down. Not that we couldn't have an M-top reversal and come higher again, but what if we break down even sooner than, say, October or September? What if we see it happen in May or June or in midsummer, right? Maybe we never make it above this point again. Maybe this line now serves as resistance. I don't know. Crazy market wolf theory for you. There you go. So that's kind of what I'm seeing. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm feeling before I leave you. I promised I would show you how that W reversal, how knowing the bear case and the bull case could help you in a trade. Okay? Even though, remember, I said I'm a bull. I thought the W reversal would pan out for us, but it didn't. Okay? So how did it help me in a trade? Well, I watched this price action, right? I'm already in a trade. I'm in a silver trade. If you haven't checked out silver, check it out. Okay? Look for your different mining companies that you might like, because it's going to do well. But we got right here in this price action here, and I'm watching this very closely, right? Because this could potentially be bad for silver if it keeps on going up. So right about here, I'm thinking to myself, okay, self, I'm going to take profit on silver because silver might just flag now. if the S&P 500 continues to go up. Or worse, silver could drop again, and I don't want to be stuck in that position any longer. I'd like to take profit. So I'm paying attention here because I know the bull case and I know the bear case, and I know where the bull case breaks down. As soon as I saw the bull case break down right here, well, I did not as soon as, because there was a fight, right? If you go back to the 30 here, there's a fight. And I was trying to determine, is this a fake out? Am I being faked out? Or is this really happening? Are we really about to go bearish? Because, I mean, just look at that. Look at how many times we kind of crossed into that territory where we were invalidating this but popping back up. Invalidating, popping back up. And then we finally invalidate. And we did briefly come back up. But remember, it was already invalidated by that point. And it was obvious that it was going to be rejected at that point on that little tiny pedestrian bounce. Okay, so what that told me is don't sell your position. Stay in. And I have. And it's gone up. And so this is how knowing how the market is working overall can help you. So you need to know the bear case. You need to know the bull case. You need to be adept at spotting both and knowing what either of them mean for a position you might be in or a position you want to get in. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode and breakdown. I think that my overall bear thesis is going to make UVXY bulls very happy. I know I am. I was never so happy to be wrong today about this jump, this Good Friday jump that I thought we might see off this W reversal. It's been fun. Leave comments in the comments section. Please like, please subscribe, please share. If you've been here and you like it, share with your friends. I'd appreciate it. It would help me so much. Thank you all. I'll see you next time on The Market Wolf.